This audio is based on the fact that you are an incredibly intelligent human being, blocked by fear and misunderstanding about something as important to your well being and thriving in this modern world as money. Your body takes in 11 million bits of information per second through all of your sensory channels and turns all of that into electricity. Your conscious mind can only handle receiving about 40 to 50 bits per second. So over 99.9% of everything that you know is inaccessible to you. If you like to train your body to turn off that fear and shift your attention onto that valuable information that you just can't make use of, this is the audio for you. Get yourself comfortable. Let's begin. I remember when I believed that being spiritual meant rejecting the physical world. Then I realized that the spiritual gurus who preach rejection all lived in monasteries or temples where their needs for money, food, and housing are all taken care of. I remember when I was afraid that having a lot of money meant that I was taking advantage of people. But now I know that people buy from me because it truly helps them on their journey. I remember when I was afraid that I had to fix myself because everybody who earned a lot of money must be really perfect. Now I know that being born into wealth does not mean those people have less problems than I do. And it often means I've done more inner development than anybody else in the room. I remember when I was afraid that earning a lot of money meant hiding who I really was. Now I know that leading into my natural strengths and individuality earns me more than hiding ever did. I remember when I was afraid that I wasn't disciplined enough to make a lot of money. Now I know that the distraction and stress of money problems is what blocked my natural discipline from flowing. I remember when I was afraid that money would cost me my freedom. Now I know that in this modern world, freedom is having the resources to choose where I want to live and what work I want to do and who I want to have around me. I remember when I was afraid that if I got more money, someone else was getting less. Now that I have more money, I'm actually able to support more small businesses than I could before. I remember when I was afraid that people would think I was greedy. Now I know that almost nobody cares. My income level is not a moral event that anybody else is paying attention to. I remember when I was afraid that money wasn't for me because we didn't grow up with any. Now that I make more money, I realize the only difference between myself and high earners was the anxiety I felt for not having money. I remember when I was afraid that becoming wealthy would make me a bad person. Now I know that money just amplifies who I already am and makes it easier for me to express my generosity and values. I remember when I was afraid to take action without certainty. Now I know that taking action gives my mind the information it needs to figure out the next step. I remember when I was afraid that more money would mean more responsibility that I couldn't handle and I'd screw everything up. Now I know the truth. My body and my energy are always adapting, and I'm capable of taking on harder tasks every single day while having it feel easier. I remember when I was afraid that handling money was complicated. Now I know the people who do it well keep money stupidly simple and hire accountants. I remember when I was afraid that I would be judged or used if I earned a lot of money. Now I realize that having boundaries and keeping those people out of my life just makes my life even better. I remember when I was afraid that I wasn't skilled enough to charge a high rate. Now that I'm comfortable with bigger numbers, I can see that wasn't true. I remember when I was afraid that wealth all came down to luck. Now I know that it comes down to perception and action. I remember when I was afraid that fast money meant something shady. Now I earn quickly because I leverage my strengths. I remember when I was afraid that if business felt easy, something was wrong. Now I know that ease is alignment. I remember when trying to earn money caused a huge amount of friction inside of myself. Now I just fall asleep thinking about tomorrow's goal or my big goal. And the next morning, everything feels effortless.